So we'll get started, given it's 2 minutes past 8. Thank you all for coming on and being so punctual. I'm Stephanie Kakris from High Performance Club, and I'm really excited tonight to be sharing some of my, not necessarily my most recent insights about law of attraction, because I have actually hang on, I'm just seeing myself. I'm just going to mute something. I have actually been studying the law of attraction and putting this stuff together for many years now. But whilst I've been working with people recently, I've found that there are certain things that have been working really powerfully and really effectively for them. So tonight I've put together the 5 things that are working for my people, and I'm going to tell you some really cool stories about some manifesting that people have done. So without further ado, I'm going to share my screen and pop on over to my PowerPoint. Very good. And I need to put the chat box up on the side for myself so that I can see if any of you would like to let me see. No, I don't want that one. Okay, if any of you would like to chat, just type in the chat and I'll be able to see. And you can if you want to ask a question, very happy for you to ask me a question at any time. Just interrupt me. There will be time for questions at the end, but I prefer to answer them as we go, because sometimes, I don't know about you, but I lose my train of thought when I'm, if I wait till the end of the presentation. So I'm just can't see myself in the little chat box video there, but that doesn't matter. If you lose my audio or you lose this video, hopefully you can all see my presentation now. Just inbox me and I'll see what I can do about it. So tonight I'm going to be sharing, as I've just mentioned, my 5 keys to bringing your dreams to life. And I used to say that I wanted to help people pursue their goals, but these days I realize that pursuing your goals is one thing, but to actually manifest your desires and actually bring them into your current reality is really, or bringing your dreams to life is really what the goal is here. So I'm very big on, when we're setting goals and when we're setting intentions, to use accurate language to describe exactly what it is that we want. So making your dreams come true is a very nice brief way to say it. So for those of you who don't know me, we have a few people on tonight that haven't heard me before. Obviously, I'm Stephanie Kakris, and just a very brief background. I guess that I've known that I've wanted to be a coach or to help people to get the best out of themselves since I was quite young, since high school. I just had a natural affinity for talking to people and assisting them to help, talk through their problems and just generally make them feel better. And went to university and studied psychology. I did a Bachelor of Science. I love science. And I went on to do a Master's in Sports Psychology. As a young person, I was a really big sport fan. And the idea of assisting elite athletes to get the best out of themselves and to actually be able to perform on the day when it really counted was something that really, I was really passionate about. Unfortunately, university wasn't the experience that I had hoped it would be. And after 7 or 8 years of full-time study, I left without very many practical tools to actually help athletes and people to perform at their best. During my master's in particular, I was very ill. I had a lot of stomach problems and a lot of anxiety associated with it. And I was really, really keen to finish. I was really determined to finish. So I continued on, I battled on, and I worked part-time and supported myself and all those things that we do. And in hindsight, when I look back, I realised that my illness was a result of my own personal philosophy not being in alignment with what the university taught. So I did work with elite athletes for about 10 years, didn't get paid very well for it, had part-time jobs on the side, and helped my husband in his business. And then about 10 years ago, fortunately, I came across, or my husband actually came across Beyond Success, who a lot of you know are a personal development company. And I did their coach training. Peter actually signed me up for their coach training program. And in 2 days, I learnt more about being a coach and how to actually work with people to get the best out of themselves. I learnt more about that than I did with 8 years at university. So it was like, you know, a light had turned on, and, you know, I was totally inspired, and things have just developed from there. And I've, you know, continued to read about energy healing and about the law of attraction, and just all the really cool magic, to me, what's magical about life. I love science, and I love explaining about the law of attraction from a scientific point of view, but there's always that X factor that is in play in our lives, that, you know, I love helping people to draw out that X factor that really helps us to get where we want to be. So that's a little bit about me. I also, for Beyond Success, I helped train their coaches. And I particularly love working for people who have a goal or a dream to make a difference in the world. And therefore, that will just determine a ripple effect from my point of view. So that's why my little quote there is helping others to make a difference. So I like to make a difference, but I love to help others who will also then go on to make a difference. I'm in the process of rebranding myself, because High Performance Coach was very much that sport psychology performance side of things, and I'm still excited about helping people to achieve a peak performance, but more from a spiritual side of things rather than from an ego-based side of things, which is where I started, and which was very much where you know, the university stuff was tailored towards. And I've just registered a new domain called quantumshift.xyz, and literally about an hour ago I had this logo drafted up from a guy on fiverr.com, which is on the bottom right there. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. I quite like that logo, so I've just popped that in for today. So my mission statement is to inspire, support, and encourage people to identify and attract what they truly want in life. And I used to have to identify and pursue what they truly want in life. But pursuing something is all very well and good, but to actually bring it to life and to bring it into reality and to attract it, that's the next step on. So I've just changed that. And that's me. What I didn't mention is that I have 2 beautiful children. That photo was taken a long time ago now. Anthony's now 12 and Alexi is 7. And they are always my first priority in my world, and they're just beautiful. So that's me, and obviously my husband, Pete. This is a double spread of my work or career or my passion in my goal book, something that I did a couple of years ago now. And I realised when I re-looked at it, when I started doing some more webinars and I opened it up and had a look at it again, that I didn't have anywhere in there that it was about profit. So I've since stuck another highly profitable sticker in there, just to add to all those really cool words and phrases. So that's a little bit about me. What I'm going to share with you today is really the tip of the iceberg of what I know about the law of attraction. I've studied it for, as I say, for probably 10 years. I've read loads and loads of books. I've studied the neuroscience of how the brain works and how the law of attraction and the brain and the body's energy systems work together. So with your permission, at the end of the webinar, I'm going to let you know about a 5-week program that I'm running, where that I go into more depth week by week about the law of attraction and about how you can manifest some great things into your life. So we'll be doing that at the end. So now I'd like to turn my attention over to you and ask you if you have a big dream that you'd like to manifest, something that you're really passionate about that hasn't arrived yet. And I say it hasn't arrived yet because I believe that everything that we can imagine, or every possibility, exists in the quantum field, in reality, sort of out there somewhere at a vibrational level. And so it's up to us to get our vibration right so that it appears. So if you'd like to either unmute yourself or write in the chat box to everyone, or you can just write to me and I can just read it out anonymously. Something that's really important that you're passionate about, that you'd like to set a goal for. And let's start. Let's start right now. So Marina's would love to buy the house that they're renting and have an income to have her husband living at home. Her husband works away, so they would love to be in a position where he could be working or living at home more of the time. Thanks, Marina. What else? Great health and a great career. Yep. A relationship, making a difference, a home. I feel that owning my home at my age with the debts that I have is beyond me now. Nothing is beyond you. Trust me. This is what more and more. The more that I study the law of attraction and the more that I work with people, the more I realize that anything is possible. Like, seriously, anything is possible. Find the right career that aligns with my purpose in life. So do you know what that purpose is, Laura, yet? Or you're still in that process of discovering that? Okay. So Laura knows, but Adam is just starting the discovery. Great. To have a big dream to set up a training facility for assistance dogs, as well as providing employment and accommodation for older people who have, I assume that Teresa's going to say, intellectually disabled. Brilliant. Mary, to reinvigorate my coaching business and attract many more clients who will pay me handsomely to help them. And of course, for you to assist them and to change their lives, Mary. To create some serious passive residual income, and I can work or not from wherever I may be in or out of Australia. Fantastic. I can see someone's got their hand up. Let me have a look who that may be. Oh. So I might have to can whoever that was that had their hand up, please just type "it was me" in the chat box so that I can unmute you. To travel and help others, working for the experience and not the money. Fantastic.
Stephanie, it's Sue.
Hi, Sue.
That was me raising my hand.
Oh,
I'm doing this from my phone. And I was going to try and type something, but my phone's
Yeah, typing on your phone is not always the easiest thing to do.
So yeah, I just wanted to share that I haven't started my coaching business because I obviously need to earn an income to survive and pay the bills. But my dream is to be a coach also, and to earn enough money. And I'm also at an age where I'm too old to buy a property, perhaps. So yeah, property, a home to live in and retiring, earning a good income and becoming a great coach. They're my goals and dreams.
Brilliant. Love it. Yep, never too old, that's for sure. So thank you everyone for sharing. That's awesome. So, you know, the thing is that most of us have a big dream to help others. And so we spend our lives helping others. And what we need to realize, and, you know, it's kind of sounds obvious, but we don't see it because we have such big hearts and that we want to help others. And Sue, would you just mind putting yourself back on mute again, love, so that we haven't got the background noise, please?
Oh, sorry.
You're right. So we have the big dream to help others, and we're reluctant to help ourselves because we're helpers. But of course, we need to help ourselves first so that we can then get enough wealth and establish ourselves to a point where then we can help others. So, you know, that's something that I really love helping people with, and it's something that's it is very relevant for my own journey as well, and what I've learnt for myself. So, the law of attraction, the basis of the law of attraction is that we're all like magnets, and what dominates our thoughts, our beliefs, and our feelings then dominates our experiences. So a lot of people say with the law of attraction, it's what you think about, you bring about. And that is true only to a point, in my opinion, because we are a lot more than our thoughts. We also have a huge amount of underlying subconscious beliefs that affects our vibration. And we also have emotions that affect our vibration, as well as generational issues that have been passed down from previous generations, as well as, you know, possibly past life experiences. So there's a whole host of different things that factor into what's happening for our vibration. And so for me, it's really important that we start small. And what I'm going to share with you today are some practical, simple things, but really powerful things that we can do consistently that will help lift our vibration so that we can attract more of what we want in our lives. So basically, when we're in vibrational alignment with our intentions, they come into existence. That's the way the law works. So whatever it is that's happening for us in our world is what we're vibrating at. And that's generally why the same things continue to happen over and over until we can make some kind of a quantum shift in our vibration and a shift in that energy level so that we can attract something different. And that's possible, to me, that's possible at any time. And it is possible to do it in a short period of time as well. But for most people, because of the nature of the way that we are, you know, small incremental steps are what will get us there. So people say to me, yeah, that's all very well and good, but does this really work? So I just wanted to share with you a couple of examples of some people that I've been working with recently that have manifested some really cool things. So one of my clients wanted to go to Vietnam to her nephew's wedding. Now she's on a pension and she has no spare money, but she was in one of my workshops and she made a decision there and then, even though it seemed totally ridiculous and just not practical and not logical that it could happen, that she would go to her nephew's wedding. And so she did a page in her goal book about how excited she is that she's going to her nephew's wedding in Vietnam. Anyway, she told everyone that she was going. She knew that she didn't have the means, but she just chose to believe that it was going to happen. She went to a different nephew's wedding in the meantime, which was a month or so before the other trip. and she happened to be sitting next to an aunt of her nephew, probably on the other side of the family, someone she'd never met before. And she was telling her aunt how she wanted to go to the other nephew's wedding in Vietnam, but she just didn't have the funds. And of course the aunt says, well, I've got a lot of money, honestly. I don't even know what to do with my money. I would be very happy to pay for you to go and to pay for your airfare and to give you a bit of spending money while you're there. And she just thought, oh, okay, you know, that's pretty amazing. And she thought, you know, wow, that's amazing. And she went home and she didn't hear anything from the aunt for a bit. And she thought, oh, you know, she's probably just saying that, you know, how people just say these things. Anyway, she got a phone call from her nephew, the one who was getting married. And she said, come on, have you spoken to this aunt? Because she's contacted me wanting your number because she really wants to pay for you to go. And so out of the blue, just from nowhere, she ended up going to her nephew's wedding. And there's another story about how she couldn't find her passport as well. And she ended up finding it just in the nick of time. So it was really cool. And just very recently, I've changed her name for her confidentiality purposes, but let's call her Kerry. Has recently attracted a deal that earned her an additional $100,000 on an investment. So her and a couple of business partners were doing a property development, and they wanted to get approval for 8 dwellings, I think it was, or 7. And the council would only say they needed 8 dwellings, and the council would only approve 7 based on the number of car park spots that there were. And they applied to the council again to get another one, and they expected that if the council were to approve it, that would have to go through, you know, to put a yellow sign and to have the public, you know, to raise objections, and that whole process that happens when we want to put through a building permit. And just the other day, she got a phone call from one of her business partners to say the council have rung, and out of the blue, they've approved our extra dwelling, which basically means that we're going to add an extra $100,000 to $150,000. So it's probably $300,000 in total. So $100,000 just for her on the profit from the investment from the whole development. So she has no idea, and her business partners have no idea how the council approved it without going through the whole due process. But it's all gone through, and they're going to basically attract. And that was one of her intentions that she put forward before she started the 5-week program. So I was thrilled for her. And I'm sure that you've all got your own success stories. I'm sure that if you think about it, there are things that have turned up in your life that defy logic, that you just can't explain how it happened. But it was really great that it did. So personally, myself, I've manifested a new car that I set an intention from an activity that I did while reading a Law of Attraction book. And my husband and I are really we love the Toyota Prius, which is a hybrid petrol electric car. And I set an intention that I would manifest the money for the car, and within 48 hours. So it was an exercise from a book called E Squared by Pam Grout. And you had to think of something really quite big and bold to manifest in the next 48 hours. And 48 hours came and went, and a couple of really cool little things happened, but then not much else. Then about a week later, we got notified that some shares that we had in a company that we thought were worth about $3,000 or $4,000 were actually getting distributed to the shareholders. And I had no idea when. We knew that money was coming to us at some point because the company had closed down, but we had no idea when it was going to be. And we didn't really know how much. We thought it would be $3,000 or $4,000. And basically we find out that it was around about $15,000 that was owed to us. And then I found out that the board meeting that they had where they decided to distribute the shares was within that 48-hour period where I'd set that intention to get the money for the car. So it was really cool. And we since bought our silver Prius, and we got an amazing deal, and a too good to be true deal on the car. And we absolutely love it. It's been fantastic. When I did another program with my group, because I love to set my intentions with my group, I set an intention for a 50-inch or 55-inch TV to go in our back room, because we only had a 32-inch one and I wanted a bigger one. And about a week later, we literally found a 55-inch TV out the front on the nature strip on the side of the road. And we pulled over and picked it up. And I said to Pete, Pete's like, "Oh my God, there's our big TV." And I said to Pete, "Oh no," I said, let's not pick it up. We'll just have to get rid of it. I'm sure it'll be broken. And he said, "Well, if it's broken, then we'll just take it down the tip and we'll get rid of it." And I'm like, okay. So we drove past, and basically it's got a very slight fault in the side of the screen, but apart from that, it's perfectly good. And it was just something that turned up when I set that intention. So just some really cool stories about being open to all possibilities. This is another really cool sort of proof for me that how intention works. So there was a lady called Lynn McTaggart who's a scientist, and she goes around talking about energy healing and energy and intention and things like that. And she had an experimenter in the US who had put aside 4 groups of seeds, and they were barley seeds. And she was doing a workshop in Sydney at the time. And there were 600 people in the room in Sydney, and they had to choose one lot of seeds, whether it be A, B, C or D, and that all the 600 did a meditation, and they set an intention to the group of seeds. Let's just say they picked group B. They set the intention that group B will grow, the seeds will grow at least 3 centimetres by the 4th day of growing. So they've obviously got some background information about how big they grow. And the experimenter in Arizona in the laboratory didn't know which group of seeds had the intention. So she just had 4 groups of seeds, and she planted them all out exactly the same. And within 5 days, so they stopped they looked at the experiment after 5 days. The seeds that had that intention, it was just on that one day with the 600 people in the workshop that gave the seeds the intention. They grew on average 56 millimetres, compared to the 3 other groups of seeds with no intention grew 48 millimetres. Now across all of the seeds there was a 2 millimetre variation. So some of the plants grew very much slightly bigger and some were slightly smaller, but the average of that group of seeds that had that intention was a huge amount. It's nearly a quarter more. So that experiment has since been replicated over and over. So to me, if that's not proof of, how the intention can change what's happening, it's just really cool. So while I'm talking about my things, I want you to think about what your success story will be. What's going to happen for you that's really unexpected, that's going to be fantastic, that's going to turn up in your life. So on to my manifesting keys. So my key number 1 is to absolutely be open to all possibilities. In the quantum field, there is no limit. There are no limits to what can possibly happen. The only limits to what might happen is in our own belief system and in our own head. So that's why I continually read books and stories about supernatural, about energy healing, about whatever I can get my hands on, because I feel like I need to continually reinforce to my belief system that anything is possible in life, anything is possible in my future. But what happens is it's human nature that we allow our past to dictate our future. So we assume that whatever has been happening in our previous history, what we've learned and often what we've been taught is our reality as a child, continues on those same patterns because our belief system has been formed early. So absolutely key number 1 is just be open, and also to allow, when we set our intention about what it is that we want, to definitely take action towards it, but to allow the universe to figure out how it's going to happen. So when I wanted to manifest the money for a new car, I didn't know where that money was going to come from or how I was going to attract it into my life. I had forgotten about the shares. It had been something that had been ongoing for a couple of years, and I'd just really put it to the back of my consciousness. So it wasn't something that I'd thought about for a long time, because I wasn't sure when the companies were going to be wound up and when the shares were going to be distributed. So I didn't care to know how the money was going to turn up, or if we were just going to be given a car from somewhere. So it's not for you to figure out the how, but it's for you to be really clear about the what. So manifesting key number 2 is to be really clear and to actually ask for exactly what you want. A lot of the information that I read about setting goals and intentions, teachers has taught me that we're not often clear about what it is that we want. So we might set an intention, and then straight away, that little monkey voice inside our head might say, oh yeah, but what are going to be the drawbacks to that? And I don't know if I really want that. And yeah, how is that going to happen? And I suppose that we're taught that, with the good comes the bad, so to speak. And yes, I believe that life is all full of ups and downs. And, I'm not suggesting that, anyone's going to have a perfect life without challenges, because I believe that our challenges are here to, come to help us grow. But what I'm suggesting is that when you're asking for what you want, to be really clear and to figure out why this is going to be of benefit to you, and then to have the courage to ask for it. And, there's a famous Oprah Winfrey quote that you get in life what you have the courage to ask for. Me, myself, I have balked at setting goals for many years because, I don't perform well under pressure. So I'm not the kind of person that likes to, maybe it was too many years being flogged at university where, I had to work towards deadlines, and I found it quite exhausting. But I'm also mindful that I don't want to disappoint myself, or I don't want to set a goal with an end date, and then if it doesn't happen, I'll feel disappointed, or it will just reinforce a belief that, that's never going to happen for me, or whatever it is. So that's definitely been something that I've been working on. And so now when I set an intention, I set more of a general intention about what I want my life to look like and how I want to feel, rather than a specific outcome that I want. Although I still do specific outcomes, but then I'm not attached to them. I might write them down, and then I'll just let them go and, offer it up to the universe, so to speak. If you've got any questions while I'm talking, or anything that you want to share, just type a message in, and I'll stop and listen. In the meantime, I'll assume that you're all listening. So the manifesting key number 3 is to explore your why. Now this ties into what I've mentioned in the introduction at the beginning of this presentation, where I was talking about how many of us have a why about why we want to attract things into our lives so that we can help others. And for me, it's so critical that I continually connect with why I want to do whatever it is that I want to do, especially when I'm challenging myself. So for me, the motivation to get on this webinar was that, I want to really assist people so that then they can help themselves and then help others. And for me, if your why is not deep enough, then you're not going to have that momentum and that motivation to go on. So a perfect example of looking at the importance of having a big why is weight loss, or wanting to get fitter is a great example. So someone might set a goal to lose a few kilograms, or to eat more healthy, or to work out or exercise more often. Now that that momentum will last a short period of time because there's a reason why something triggered one of us to set that goal. So, you know, maybe we've been feeling really lethargic, or maybe we decide that we want energy. There will be some key reason why we set that goal. But if we're not really clear and write down the whys about what it is that we want, then why it is that we want it, then we'll lose momentum. We'll do it for a few days and we'll start feeling okay. We'll start feeling a little bit better. And then often we'll stop. You know, we'll go out and we'll be tempted by eating things that don't make us feel good, or, you know, it'll be too cold for us to go exercising or whatever it is. Now, when you're doing your why, it's really important to look at why you want to do it for you, but why you want to do it for a cause that's bigger than you. Because we often stop at just doing things for ourselves. We're not as motivated to do things for ourselves mostly as we are to do things for other people. So in terms of energy and weight loss, then the things that it would be in my why for that is that so I've got more energy so that I can, you know, be more fun for my kids and not be tired, you know, at nighttime, and want to go to bed instead of putting them to bed or reading them a story late at night. You know, I want to be fit and healthy and lead a long life so that I can see them grow up and I can see their kids have kids. I want to have more energy so that I can do my work and, you know, have the energy to help other people, etc., etc., etc. You can get the idea. So I've got a question about what if you don't really have a clear idea of what you want or any why? What if you're feeling really directionless? So there are often times in life, in my opinion, you know, with the ebbs and flows of life, there are often times where we do feel directionless. But in my opinion, we feel directionless because we've given up on believing that something is possible for us. So for the person who asked that question, there will be something that you actually want to do, but you've lost the connection with that it's possible because you've had setbacks or because you've tried and you've failed or whatever it is. And so to me, that's really the key, is to just really relax and open yourself up to possibilities. Another way, when people say to me, I'm not really sure what I want, another way to figure out what you want is to look at what you don't want first. So look at all the things that aren't working in your life right now, things that you're not happy about, and then to transform them and to rephrase them into something that you would like to attract into your life more of. Directionless can also mean that you're in a bit of a transition phase. So you're moving from one sort of phase of your life to another one. And sometimes you just need to sit in that, I don't know what I really want, for a while. And when you be open, pray. I'm a big believer in praying. Ask for guidance. Ask for an opportunity to come up that will help you to move you towards what it is that you want. So at this point, I've done 3 out of 5 manifesting keys. I'm just going to have a break and have a quick drink, and I would love you to just type in the text box something that has been resonated with you, something that I've said so far in the webinar that's resonated with you. And while you're doing that, so the person who asked the question about being directionless, it's probably about the change of a phase in life, but been going on about 5 years. So just for me to reiterate, ask for some guidance, ask for an opportunity to open up that's going to show you, that's going to light you up, that's going to show you what it is that you might like to do or what it is that you might like to be passionate about. And then be really open, because it might not be something that you expect. Okay, so Therese has said, yes, be clear on your why. It's so critical. It's really important. From someone else, something that you've learnt so far or that I've said so far that's reminded you or that's resonated with you? Keep reading on the topic and to practice, practice, practice. That when you're directionless, that's a sign of transition, absolutely. The why should be big enough to make you cry. Yeah, I totally agree, Caesar. I totally agree. I think if when you read out your why, if you read it out loud, it needs to move you. It needs to really, you need to really feel that the critical nature or that passion or that just that emotion that's behind what it is that you actually want. Yeah. Yeah, just being open to all possibilities. Cool. Okay, so now that I've had my drink and had a breath, thank you, everyone. So manifesting key number 4 is to surround yourself with people and places and experiences that lift you up. So, and I've written there, beware of dream stealers. So a critical component to attracting things that make you feel good is to actually feel good in the first place, so then they'll turn up. So it's kind of a little bit, we sort of look at things the wrong way around. We imagine that when the thing that we want turns up, that's going to make us feel good. But in actual fact, we actually need to feel good first so that the thing can turn up. So one of the things that is really important is to surround yourself with, where possible, with those people that lift you up, that make you feel good, and places and experiences. And if you're in relationships and you've got friends and you've got a workplace that are all dragging you down, that are perhaps, fit low vibration, that feel heavy, that, demand things of you all the time, that just not in a really good feeling space, then I recommend that you go and seek out some different experiences and activities and groups and people that will actually lift you up. So in terms of groups, meetup.com is a fantastic place where you can hop on and you can search for, either a networking group or, people who talk about the law of attraction, or spiritual groups, or whatever it is that you could go along and meet some new people that are also on the same path and feel good. Personal development seminars, even though you might have been to 1 million and, there might be the whole rah about them, still places that I enjoy going because it's just really uplifting. And when I say beware of dream stealers, everyone has those people in their lives where if you come up with a good idea or you've got a really big vision and you share them with certain people, they'll tell you every single reason why that's not going to happen, why that's not going to be possible for you. And that can just bring you down with a thud. So be really careful about who you share your goals and dreams with, and that you want those people to believe in you and to believe in the possibilities for you. The reason why people will, there's a couple of reasons why people will try and bring you down. They're afraid that if you go further in your life than where they're at, that they might lose you, that they might not relate to you anymore. And the other reason is because they don't want you to feel disappointed. So, sometimes they have really good intentions, that they don't want you to have high hopes and then, have those hopes, whatever, be smashed. So, a lot of people will rather play safe. They'd rather not think big, not really want anything, just go along step by step. And that way you can't be disappointed. I mean, if you feel sad all the time, then you can't go much lower than that. Well, to me, that's no way to live. That's no way that I want to live my life. I think that's a really sad state of affairs for those people. And yes, there's also the tall poppy syndrome that, people want to bring you down. They don't want you to They don't want you to have big, high hopes and big beliefs. So that's my key number 4. And then my key number 5, which there's a reason why I've put this last, because this is really, really important in terms of raising your happiness level, or you're raising your vibration, or making you feel good with what you've already got. So the basis is, for the law of attraction, is what you focus on, you attract. So it's great to set goals and intentions. It's great to want more, because that continues, it continues to make us to grow and to challenge ourselves and to learn more. But when we've got the goal, it can also make us feel like what we've got right now is not enough. So if we've got a goal to earn more money, or to start a new business, or to change jobs, or to get a partner, to get a new partner, or whatever that might be, then that's all very well. But if we're too focused on wanting that and feeling like that's going to be the thing that makes us happy, then we can feel like we're in we have the energy that we're in lack, that things aren't enough, that things aren't good enough, that there's not enough, my life's not great. And when you have the belief your life's not great, then you will attract more experiences that reinforce that your life's not great. So the gratitude for the things that you've already manifested to this point is the absolute key to what's going to get you to the next step. So, and it also reinforces the belief that we can do it, that we can actually manifest great things into our lives. So what I used to see when I worked with athletes was that they would set a goal and they would reach it, and the happiness would be so short-lived, because then they would just want to set the next goal. And then they might reach that goal, and then they would be happy for just such a very short period of time, and they'd just be on this never-ending, improvement. And it was actually quite addictive. And then, at some point they'd get to a plateau, because, there's only so much that you can do in terms of training and nutrition and, the mental side of things. They'd get to some kind of a plateau, and they would often, athletes often will fall into a heap, especially after a big event like an Olympics or a World Championships or something like that, after a grand final, because it's like, well, or especially when they retire, because it's like, well, what now? What am I going to work? What am I going to achieve? What am I going to work towards? Because there's that underlying sense of nothing's ever enough. So when we can be really grateful for what we've already manifested, what we already have in our lives, remind ourselves that a quarter of the world's population live on less than $2 a day, really puts into perspective, our level of wealth. And, all the amazing things that the material things that we have, but also, the relationships that we have and the people around us that love us and that kind of thing. That's basically my 5 keys of manifesting, and I might just go back and just summarize them. So the first one is to be open to all possibilities. So all possibilities in terms of what you actually want to attract and what's possible for you, but also all possibilities in terms of the how it's going to happen. And, the universe has got so many other alternatives about how something can turn up in your life that our human conscious brain could never even come close to. So that's why it's really important to just expand our awareness about and look for opportunities about what can happen for us. Be really clear and have the courage to ask for what you want. Explore your why. Look at why is it that you want what you want, and get that feeling happening. Evoke that feeling about why it is that you want it. Surround yourself with people and places and experiences that lift you up wherever possible. And number 5 is to be grateful and to acknowledge all the cool stuff that you already have manifested. So they're my 5 steps. So where to from here in terms of the application steps? So the first one is to go away and apply what you've learnt today, And as a special bonus for those of you who are on live tonight, I've put together a list of some of my favourite affirmations, and I'll send you that list. So if you could just hold on and not hang up at the end, and I'll just take a quick screenshot of who's on. I'd love to send you all that list of, and if you're listening to the recording and you get to this point, just send me a message and I'll send you the list of the affirmations. So apply what you've learned today. And then the second one is if you're interested in learning more about how to raise your vibration in a high energy group environment, that's what I've done with my Quantum Leap program. So it's a 5-star Law of Attraction Masterclass. There are 5 weeks. So it'll be on a Zoom webinar like this. There'll be a maximum of 10 people where I talk about the Law of Attraction theory, but also about how we can practice it. And at the end of each week, I give you little tasks to do to practice over the next week. And then the following week, we report back in about how we went with our tasking. And we also talk about, our intentions. And I'll workshop everyone's intentions and help get the wording right and get the wording really accurate for, to get the meaning right and to get the why and to get the emotion into it. You'll also receive a copy of my Achieve Your Goals meditation, which helps you imagine and visualize what it is that you'd like to attract. You'll also get invited into a closed Facebook group where you can share everything that that's been happening for you and what's going on. And each of the 5 webinars are also recorded, and you'll be sent a link that you can keep forever, so that any time in the future you can come back if you're interested in going over revising the information, because there's a lot of information. So how will you benefit? Definitely raise your vibration, help you get to really clear about what you want, and and benefit from the group intention. So for me, the power in that seed experiment was that there were 600 people sending their intention at that one time to those seeds. The benefit of a group is that everyone else is in it with you. It's such a supportive environment, and it's also really inspiring to hear about other people's intentions and what it is that they want to achieve over the 5 weeks, but also into the future. And to just generally, and to me, probably the most important thing that has changed for me learning about the law of attraction is I'm just living life with more ease and flow. And it's just less struggle. It's not so much about hard work and struggle and making it all difficult. I think there's very much, and I very much had, and I think in our culture there's a strong correlation between the harder you work, the more that you'll attract, or the more that you'll bring into your life. And definitely, it's important that we take regular action. But for me, hard work and struggle do not equal best results. When I'm working with ease and flow is when I get the best results. And I just see it with my clients. When we take the foot off the accelerator a little bit and let ourselves just glide along, things can happen. Things just seem to slot into place so much better because we just don't have that angst and that struggle with it. And of course, bring dreams to life, is the primary benefit. So this is James. James has just recently finished the Quantum Leap, and basically we really work on everyone's why. And when he looked at his why, and his why is to help build schools and orphanages in third world countries. He's already been over there before and helped out and volunteered, but he would like to attract a lot more money into his life to enable him to help even more. Then he shifted his mindset with earning money from a negative to a positive one, and he's already found that the money's flowing so much better, even just in a short period of time. In terms of what we actually cover over the 5 weeks, so the topic of week 1 is where we look at the science of law of attraction and how it actually works. The second week is setting goals, and I've got a specific blueprint, so to speak, about how to set goals, using the law of attraction principles. Week 3, I give everyone a personality test before we come on the webinar, and we look at what personality type are you, and how does that impact your behaviour, and therefore how does that impact your manifesting. With week 4, we look at money specifically and how to improve your money flow. And on week 5, we look at sort of going ahead, what practices can we keep up in order to continue to keep your vibration up and to continue those really cool things to be attracted. The course is $247 for the 5 weeks. If you sign up by Monday, the 4th of July, which is next Monday, then you can have an early bird price of $197. So the next group will be starting next Thursday night at this time. There'll be a limit of 10 people so that everyone has an opportunity on the webinar to share and to set their intentions and to share with the group how they're going each week. So if you'd like to sign up, there's the link. So it's highperformanceclub.com/QL standing obviously for Quantum Leap. So Marina has just finished Quantum Leap, and she's been working on her money mindset for years. She's also done a lot of law of attraction reading, and she already knew a lot of the content. But just with working with the group and setting her intentions, and we do a little bit of accountability, she's found a really significant shift in her reaction to money situations, and also she's become more determined and motivated in her business. So yeah, that's something that she's been wanting to do for a long time, and I really sincerely hope that she continues on with her business because she's got a lot to offer for people. Anyone who'd like to have a couple of one-on-one sessions with me, you can have the course plus 2 one-on-one sessions with me for $397. So normally a one-on-one session with me would be a lot more than that. So, and when I say 45 minutes, my 45 minutes usually ends up being a little bit longer than that. So that would we can do that over the next couple of weeks, and that would really just get you really clear about what you want. So that's limited to 4 people. So for more details, I've got a little bit more information, or quite a lot more information on the website there. Go on to highperformanceclub.com/QL. And, I really look forward to starting the next group. This is, I'm really excited about this course. I feel like, in 2015, I had a pretty horrendous year with, I was in my own transition phase. So there was nothing externally really going on, just internally. I had a lot of anxiety and a lot of health issues going on. And, now that I've done a lot of healing work myself, and now that I've come through that and I've come up with this 5-part series, I'm feeling really good about it. So before we say good night and good evening, does anyone have any final questions or anything that they'd like to share? I've just gone back to the group thing, and I'll just take a screenshot of that. Any final thing that they want to share, or any questions that you want to ask before we say good night? Hopefully you all found it informative and helpful. One takeaway, one thing that you're going to do, how about we set a little action step? If everyone can tell me one thing that you're going to do over this next week between now and next Thursday, that perhaps I've mentioned that really resonated with you, that you can go away and start working on straight away. Because it's all very well to learn and to listen, but we also need to apply, where the real learning and where the real transformation is the application. So I've unmuted you, Mary, so you can go ahead.
Hi, Steph. How are you?
Good.
Can you hear me? Good,
yes.
Good. Yeah, I'm probably just going to go and sit down and write my whys, where I'm going to head for the next you know, because this is sort of happy financial year for New Year for
Yes.
everybody. So,
you know, it's really funny. It is, because I was working out when I wanted to run the webinar tonight, and you know, these are the things that are just continually happening to me. It was about 3 weeks ago, and I thought, okay, well, I'm finishing this next Quantum Leap. This next week is a little bit too soon. I wanted to do it on a Thursday night, because normally I'm singing on a Thursday night. I have singing, but we're in a break for school holidays and a bit of a winter recess. And I thought, I'm going to do it that Thursday night at 8 o'clock. And then when I opened my calendar to actually put in the date to save the date, I realised then I saw, oh, it's the 30th of June. What a timely time to actually put it in, the end of the financial year, and, you know, to start the new financial year on a new note.
yeah, so it is sort of timely. So well done, Steph. Yeah, I'm just going to go and sit and regroup, I think. So start the new year, new financial year, with some reinvigoration and I don't know, some oomph into where I'm heading, I think. Yeah, get some real direction going.
Yeah, awesome.
Thank you.
So,
and awesome as always.
Thank you very much. So Archer said to be open to all possibilities, not to worry about the how. Teresa said be focused on the why of my intention and believe. Excellent. Fine tune my intentions. Thanks for a great session. Thank you. Very welcome. So go away, get out a notebook, get out a pen and paper. Something that I love to do is what I call a stream of consciousness writing, where I just brainstorm and just write. And sometimes it's just rubbish, but that's good because it gets it out of my head, so that it can clear the way for the, you know, the new stuff to come in. Any fears and doubts, you know, when I'm not clear about what it is that I want, I'll often just sit and write, you know, I'm really doubtful and I don't know if this is going to happen and blah, blah, blah. And it often gets it out of my head, and it just clarifies things. So Mary, start writing. Very good. Thanks, Mary. Yeah, just start writing. Even if you don't know where to start, just get a pen and get it, you know, sit with an open mind. Just put on the clock, you know, it doesn't need to take long, 15 minutes, and you can actually get a lot. You can get a lot out of your head and onto paper. You know, just write a big question up the top. What do I truly want? Or what does my heart truly want? Something like that at the top, and then just write. Yep. So on that note, I shall say good night. I'd love to hear from you. If any of you have got any questions about the Quantum Leap program, feel free to either message me on Facebook or send me an email. And I'll be sending you all an email in the next couple of days with the link and inviting you to join Quantum Leap starting next Thursday night. And from me, we've gone just on an hour, so that's good timing. I'll say good night.
Thanks, Steph.